So before I get to the corruption at the top level of the FBI and the CIA, I have to open it up with this first so you know what's motivating this. Folks, the FBI and the CIA are supposed to be non-political actors. They are supposed to be there to do very important things like enforcing federal laws and gathering intelligence to protect our national security. I know those are crazy ideas these days, but those are very serious. Those are very serious assignments that you don't just haphazardly throw aside because you have political beliefs. Listen, I don't want to, I hate talking about myself, it's just stupid. Self-praise kind of stinks, obviously, but I'm serious when I say this. Here we go. The whole emotional roller coaster of the Dan Bongino show. But I took my job with the Secret Service very seriously. Very seriously. I'm telling you, as friends, as listeners, family members who listen to my show, there wasn't one time in my entire career, Democrat worked for Clinton, Obama, Bush. There was never one time in my career I said, well, oh my gosh, I really don't like Clinton or Obama because they're Democrats. So let me do a crappy job today. Like I never, ever, ever did that. Any intelligence analysis I got was always filtered through a nonpartisan lens. And we did our job. We had one job in the Secret Service. You know what that job was? You keep this guy alive, this president alive, or this protectee, whoever it may be, the vice president, you keep them alive no matter what. If you have to go first, then you go first. If you don't get to go home to see your kids, because God forbid some terror attack happens, then I'm very sorry, but that's what you signed up for. There were no pity parties. There was none of this, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. But I've got kids at home. Yeah, you do got kids at home, but your job was to keep the president alive no matter what, even if it involves sacrificing your own life in potentially a very painful way. I went over to Afghanistan. I went over to Indonesia. I spent time in the streets of Colombia, not South Carolina, down in Colombia, South America, on very dangerous missions. You paid, your tax dollars paid. I'm not trying to be anybody's hero because I'm not, period. There are military people who do this every single day. They're the real heroes, and it certainly ain't me. I tell you that because I took my job seriously. It mattered to me. And our mission had nothing to do with politics. And I can't even imagine someone suggesting in the Secret Service that because the president was white or something, that they were privileged, so we should entertain critical race theory when determining how to do our job. Now, you may laugh and say to yourself, that sounds really stupid. Like, why would the Secret Service ever say something like, well, the president's white, therefore critical race theory says he's an oppressor and privileged, so he should get less assets than a black president? Because critical race theory, which says that kind of stuff, is seeping into the government now and into agencies like the CIA. You doubt me? First, let's get into a little background on this critical race theory. Finally, some good news, some victories against this junk. And we're going to call it critical racism theory because it's racist. Washington Times story will be in the newsletter today. Bongino.com/newsletter to subscribe to my newsletter. We'd appreciate it. It's free, of course. Headline, leftist indoctrination. Tennessee legislature votes to ban critical race theory in schools. James Varney, Washington Times. Excellent. This is now, I believe, the second state to do this. Idaho has done it already. And other states, I think Florida's looking into getting rid of it too. What is this? Here's from the Washington Times. If you want to hear about if you haven't heard of critical race theory, it is one of the most important fights we can do against the radical left right now because it is balkanizing our society and sicking one group against another. It's going to destroy us from within like a cancer. Quote, Washington Times. Critical race theory's proponents believe America is fundamentally racist and must be overhauled. A process that starts with defining people by their skin color. White people are inherently oppressors, according to the bedrock tribalism of the theory, while in practice, it often also divides people by their sex, sexuality, gender identification, and other aspects. And then they talk about intersectionality, how this stuff all connects. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, please, and again, to the liberals who listen to the show, and some guy emailed me, a listener, and said, Dan, liberals don't listen to my show. No, I promise you, they do, because I get their emails, and they're really nasty. I'm not kidding. I'd post them, but I don't want to dox anyone, obviously. To the liberals listening, and to the conservatives listening who run into their liberal friends, I need you to pass this message on. Critical race theory is racist by nature. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'd expect an honest answer. If the essence of critical race theory is that people should be judged by the color of their skin, I'm asking a very simple question. How is that not the definition of racism? It doesn't matter if you're a decent, good person or a bad person. You will be judged immediately simply by the color of your skin. And if you happen to be white, like I am, you lack a specific melanin content in your skin, then you are an oppressor. Can you define for me who I'm oppressing, please? Who exactly am I oppressing? You notice how they use these terms, but when you ask them for a specific definition of how that is, who am I oppressing specifically, they won't produce anything. Again, imagine that, the Secret Service. Hey, this president's white, so he's an oppressor, so we're going to give him less assets than we would a black president. You would be like, that's insane. Is it, ladies and gentlemen? Now we're moving into what I opened the show with, why we need a house cleaning at the upper level management of the FBI and CIA. And I don't care if it makes me a target of them either. I really don't, because this is too important. We have seen really troubling new abuses by the FBI, the whole Spygate thing, the targeting of people for political beliefs. And now we're seeing this critical race theory and this garbage seep its way into the CIA too. Did you all see this video? This was Tucker Carlson played it on his show the other night and just laced into them. This is a new recruiting video by the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. What the hell is this? Check this out.
I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am intersectional, but my existence is not a box-checking exercise. I am a walking declaration, a woman whose inflection does not rise at the end of her sentences, suggesting that a question has been asked. I did not sneak into CIA. My employment was not and is not the result of a fluke or slip through the cracks. I used to struggle with imposter syndrome, but at 36, I refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of what a woman can or should be.
What the hell is that? Do your job. Do your job. Don't advertise to Russia, China, enemies of the United States, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and others on a recruiting video that we're hiring people and then advertising their words, not mine. They have anxiety disorders. And I'm not going to be attacked by ridiculous, dopey leftists either. What are you saying? There's something wrong with anxiety disorders? Folks, listen, I spent a couple of years in graduate school studying neuropsychology, psychoanalysis. Great. Good. Who cares? I don't. These are serious problems. They run in my family. Seriously. They can be devastating. There's treatment for them and help. Do we need to be advertising this? Do you really believe these Al-Qaeda terrorists training to behead you in the middle of some dump somewhere, training to cut your head off and to be so emotionally hardened and obtuse to any response, nothing bothers you anymore. You are a straight up killer all the time. Do you think this video scares them? I'm an intersectional, cisgender, millennial anxiety disorder. But okay. There's assistance for that. We need to advertise this now? Folks, this is serious. These are all critical race theory buzzwords.